Hello everyone, as I promised, I will show you the second natal chart referring to the mothers and daughters karmic relations topic. One of my clients, let's name her Lila, was curious about the astrological symbols of a mother who doesn't take the responsibilities for her deeds, who doesn't keep her promises, doesn't respect her adult daughter, use her for her own purposes, and deals with her in an undeserving way. We don't know whether it is true or not because we don't know the mother's real intention, but it is a fact that Lila feels unwell because of her mother's behavior. Lila is suffering inside in her soul, and physically she has different symptoms of anxiety. Supposedly it is about very deep karmic wounds that causes intensive reactions because some kind of karmic past life experience and wound are keeping back the emotional energies. The soul hasn't let the painful memories go. The soul is still waiting for apology, regretting and attitude changing of the mother, but it is worth mentioning that the changes come if you change yourself at the first place. If you change, the healing process will start from that moment. Lila is 37 years old now, so she is an astrological adult that signs the Saturn return at the age of 29 and 30, but 7 years later the Saturn quadrat will also attract her attention to an important life lesson in February next year. What immediately shows up in connection with mother's-daughter's relations is that the series, the symbol of the caring, nurturing, devoted, or just the opposite, the emotional, overwhelming and blackmailing mother, is the 8th house of the horoscope, that is the field of the karmic debts and obligations. And the Chiron, the symbol of the karmic wand, is there too in the sign of Gemini. The karmic wands come from communication problems, unkept promises, lies, misunderstanding, or just lack of honest conversations. That is also shown by the retrograde Mercury in Aries in the 6th house. The communication is always ambiguous. The real intention and content don't come out directly. The archetype is wounded. It is not always obvious that Lila wants or the world wants from Lila, but at the first place Lila has to figure it out what she wants, doesn't want, what causes the pains, and communicate to others with more awareness instead of acting instinctively. Sometimes the Mercury in Aries indicates a raving lunatic, especially it is retrograde, because the wounded archetype compensates by overreacting. Moreover, there is the Virtus asteroid next to it, so the Mercury in Aries gets extra power. The Venus is also there exactly on the Mercury, and the Venus is retrograde as well, so the communication is not always works in a kind way, just the opposite. Theoretically, the Venus is supposed to hold the powerful communication back, but the archetype of Aphrodite and Hermes are not completely themselves in this position. With Aries next to them, certainly not the Cantor of chaos and discord causes more confusion. The Sun in Aries as the main purpose of life gives Lila huge power, dynamism and courage for life. Lila has strong willpower and self-enforcing skills, but the 6th house signs that her special skills should be taken for service of the world. She can be the hero of the weekdays, the rescuer of her surroundings, or the manager of the circumstances, rather than being sufferer from it. On the other hand, all of the personal planets are on the descendant side of the natal chart. Lila tends to blame the world for happenings or to become the victim of the circumstances, although she herself is also able to influence the things with her cardinal energies. If we check the transiting planets of this summer, we can see that the Venus is just on the Chiron, the transiting Chiron is on her Aries, and on Venus and Mars soon, suggesting that the karmic wounds can be resolved by deep understanding, benevolent communication and kindness, but the Aries can sign rough changes and painful separation too. At the time of the conflict of the Aries and Mars were around the descendant axis point that indicates the powerful impulses from the world and projected inner contents as well. At the time of the controversy between mother and daughter, the Lilith asteroid was over the natal moon, that is a symbol of the rebellion against injustice and strong action against indignity. And now the black moon Lilith helps the natal moon with feminine power and wisdom. Lila is absolutely able to see the conflict with deep deep understanding and feminine wisdom. The moon in Cancer is the symbol of the real, caring and nurturing mother who loves her baby more than anything in the world. In the ninth house, this mother would give her baby everything in the world, the stars from the sky. She wants to give happy life to her child. Lila's soul's mothering expectations describe these things, at least, that is completed by the Ceres in Gemini and the Demeter in Virgo. There is a less known aspect, the novel, between the moon and Ceres that gives idealism and self-sacrificing intention to the caring mothering patterns. The 40 degree, the novel, is the ninth of the 360-degree circle, so it has the vibrations of the number 9, that means closing and opening new perspectives at the same time. What happened in the past should be closed and released, and create new patterns in the mother-daughter relationship to resolve the karma. The Moon-Demeter connection brings the pure caring mothering patterns, and the Ceres-Demeter Bisepter brings the accepting and facing the destiny, referring to mothering. Lila's impulsive reactions can be explained by the grand trine in fire element between the Trans-Pluto Uranus Lilith and Mercury Venus. The Trans-Pluto is Persephone herself, the daughter of the mother, and the ruler of the chart shows exaggerated pride but creative solutions too, and self-realizing intentions in the 10th house, so the daughter as an independent adult has to discover herself in something, a profession or life goal, with much freedom and creative energies. Lila is able to create special things if she has enough freedom and appreciation to do it. There is an asteroid named Wisdom that escorts the Trans-Pluto, giving Lila extra wisdom and feminine knowledge to stand on her own feet, and the Demeter asteroid is in parallel with the Uranus and Lilith that helps her to be independent from her mother who wants to control her. The Demeter asteroid at the 12th degree of Virgo has strong karmic aspects to the Pallas Athena and Jupiter, creating a Yod aspect pattern that is the finger of fate or finger of God aspect pattern that points at the Demeter, the mother. The energies God around there. It is also can be a jealous mother-in-law anyway. The Pallas Athena symbolizes the smart, wise and independent girl who manages her life in a really great way on her own in the 6th house, and the Jupiter gives optimism and good luck for solving the karmic issues, referring to the mother. The Jupiter grows and blows everything it touches, the family issues as well in the 4th house in Aquarius, but it can be happy-ended because the Virgo is a binary sign. It brings changing and almost resolves problems, the same as the Ceres in Gemini that is also a dual sign with mutable quality. Lila has to show a bit more flexibility and spontaneity to resolve these karmic obligations and wounds. The conflict between mother and daughter started from a heritage from a land that is shown by the Chiron Ceres and Neptune aspect, because the Neptune is the symbol of the heritage intellectually and referring to a real estate as well, and the Pluto indicates the powerful games and fights, the desire for ownership. The finger of the fate points at the karmic wounds that should be released by rational attitude, and Neptunian everything is the same principle. There is also some kind of compulsive attitude to be free by the quindachila aspect between the Chiron and Uranus Lilith. She is acting for the very reasons willfully. The Vesta next to the Pluto grows the focusing skills in the 1st house. Lila is supposed to concentrate on her duties in life instead of staying in past lives' memories. The Pluto helps her transformating the past and cut the painful issues off with the scissors of the Scorpio. As the snake doesn't need its love skin, the soul doesn't need its redundant contents. If we check the actual solar arc chart, we can absolutely recognize the heritage issues because the Neptune is just over the natal Jupiter. The Saturn is on the Neptune, and the descendant axis point is just touching the Ceres. In addition, the Chiron is on the Moon that has activated all the aspects of the Moon almost for a year now, including the quincunx, the 150-degree aspect toward the Jupiter with the solar arc Neptune. So it is the high time to work on these family problems and dilemmas, the karmic wounds can be definitely healed by cardinal emotions, unconditional love, forgiving, and being just herself and themselves without willingness to change the other person. Mother and daughter should let each other be just herself in a self-identical way. This karmic topic can be solved by the Sun and Mars in a wonderful trapeze aspect pattern that gives Lila purposefulness and willpower to show the world and her mother her real intentions and feelings, to stabilize and fix her unstable emotions. To do this, she needs to change her attitude, the projected contents into a peaceful, self-conscious acting. The main problem here is not certainly the heritage, but a much deeper leveled karmic story behind it, so the healing should be started from deeper levels by self-examinations and self-knowledge. Anyway, in the solar arc, everything has indecile aspect with everything, so professionalism, mercurial logic, and initiative are the absolute characteristics of Lila's current stage of life, along the principle of being more reasonable than powerful, and she is definitely able to solve her family issues with her deep love and commitment to her mother in her soul. I wish Lila all the best and much success. That's all for now. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Have a nice day.